Hi there, I'm Ben, an RV technician here at Lichtsinn RV. Today I'm going to show you how to winterize a Winnebago View 24T. Really easy, couple steps. First thing we need to do is get our supplies. A couple things we need is RV antifreeze. Make sure it's RV antifreeze, not automotive antifreeze. It will say right on the label. About 2 jugs, 2 gallons usually does it. Rags to clean up. The other thing we're going to need is either a screw gun or a screwdriver with a Phillips tip. And all that's for is to take this cover off that's back here to get to our winterizing hose and some of our drains. Okay, now that we're back here and we already got that cover off and everything. So on the top one, right here is actually our Truma drain. So if it's facing towards the out like this, that's normal operation. That is line drain. And this is tank and line drain. So I usually put it there for now, just while we're draining. And then over here, I turn that so we're facing the Winterize. And all that's doing is pretty much shutting off the fresh water tank, and then it turns on our suction hose here. That's how we get the antifreeze into the system. So that way, straight out, and then this one to the side. 3 valves that are down low here. They're a little hard to see. So the one way on the right side here is going to be our fresh tank drain. So we can just open that up and we'll just leave that open the whole time we're winterizing, let that whole tank drain. These are 2 low point drains, one's for cold and one's for hot. So I'm going to open those up right now just to get as much water as I can out of the system prior to us pumping RV antifreeze through it. Right there. And as long as they're facing, with the line, that means they're open. Okay, now that we have the valves closed and our winterizing line turned on, right above my head here is our Truma. The other thing we need to do is actually drain that really quick. And the reason I drain it first is just so we're not pushing all that water through the system. We just get it out of there quickly. Then I'm filling it all up with antifreeze. So this might be easier to do with a step stool, but I'm gonna do it here. We'll just open that up quick. Just pull that open. And that's gonna drain all the water out of the system. And pretty much I'm, again, doing that so I don't dilute my antifreeze. So once that's all drained out, make sure your filter's pushed back in your plug. We're gonna close that. Shut that relief valve that was up there. Okay. So right now I'm leaving the drains open. I'm gonna go inside now and we're gonna do a couple things in there to get ready for winterizing. Okay, now that we're inside, we're just gonna do one more thing prior to us going outside and getting set up for winterizing. Okay, so down here underneath the kitchen sink, we're gonna open this compartment here. There actually is a drinking water filter right here. So what I want you to do is we're gonna take that off. Just unscrew it, pull it out, and then we'll just dump the water out of that filter canister. A lot of times you'll have your drinking water filter in here. We want to remove that filter. We don't want to pump RV antifreeze through it. For one thing, it's going to ruin the filter. The other thing, it's actually going to take all the pink out of the antifreeze, so you kind of won't know when you're winterized. So just take that out, either get rid of it to get a new one when you de-winterize, or take it out and save it. It's up to you. But put the canister back on empty. And we're gonna actually dump that one more time when we're all the way done winterizing. And once we go to that, I'll explain why we do that. Okay, so the canister's back on. One more thing I wanna show you really quickly is in the bathroom here, and then back around the corner. So behind the shower in the closet, you'll actually see a valve down low. And actually, it's in line right now. I want you to leave it in line. It's a bypass valve, but because of our circulation line in these RVs, even if I bypass the water heater, it ends up circulating back through and still going into the water heater anyways, into the Truma. So what I want you to do is leave it in normal operation. We're gonna winterize through the Truma, and then we'll drain it when we're done. That's how I know we're fully winterized. All the lines get winterized all the way. So leave that in normal operation. We don't even really mess with it ever. Now, let's go back outside and get set up for winterizing. Okay, now that we got everything done inside and ready for winterizing, we're coming back out here. What we're gonna do is start with the top valve here. I wanna put that back in normal operation. So again, that's line drain, and then that's normal operation that way. We'll leave our winterizing hose facing the hose because I wanna use that. And then down below here, I'm gonna leave the freshwater tank drain open because again, we're not gonna pump any antifreeze in there. We just wanna drain that tank. But I wanna close this low point drain and close this low point drain just so we don't pump any antifreeze out of there right away. All right, now that all your valves are closed here, besides your freshwater tank drain, we're gonna open our jug of antifreeze, take the white cap off of the end of the hose, and then we're gonna push that all the way to the bottom of the jug. All right, now that we got our hose in there, what we're gonna do is come to the outside faucet here, which is just behind the door, by the outside shower here. All right, water pump switch right here at the top. So all I'm gonna do is hit the water pump switch on. And what I always do is start out here, and I'm gonna open the hot water line. And we're gonna just let that run until we get a nice steady stream of pink coming out. It's gonna take a little bit because we gotta fill a canister, we gotta fill the whole hot water heater. This is kind of why we have to have 2 gallons of RV antifreeze at least, just because we are putting a lot of antifreeze in those 2 places. So right there, you got nice steady stream of pink coming out. That's on the hot side. Now we'll do cold side. Just like that, nice steady stream of pink. Okay, so we'll shut that off. Just like that, and let that drain down. Okay, before we go back inside, what we'll do now is we'll change our jug out because we've actually used that whole first gallon. So we'll go here. And then we're just gonna put it in the new jug, just like that. And then now we'll actually go inside and we'll get all the fixtures inside winterized. Okay, now that we're inside, what we're gonna do is we're actually gonna get the antifreeze pumped through all the fixtures in here. We'll start with the kitchen faucet. We will actually turn that on. And again, nice steady stream of pink coming out. Turn it on to hot. Nice steady stream of pink coming out. Shut that one off. Now we'll go into the bathroom. And we'll start with the bathroom sink. Again, run it till we get a nice steady stream of pink coming out right there. Hot side. Right there. Then we'll go to the toilet. Run the toilet till you get nice and pink coming out. And last but not least, we will go to the shower. I'll just run the shower on cold so we get a nice steady stream of pink coming out. Turn it all the way to hot. There we go, a nice steady stream of pink coming out. Okay, now that we've winterized through all the fixtures here, what we're gonna do is I'm gonna go back outside and then we are actually gonna open the valves and turn the pump and everything off on the outside. Okay, now that we're back outside, first thing I just want you to do, you could either shut this off on the inside or outside, doesn't matter. I'm gonna shut the water pump off from out here. And then after I shut the water pump off, we'll go back up here to these valves. What I wanna do now is I'm just gonna open all the valves. So once we've actually pumped the RV antifreeze through the system, it's done its job, it's pushed all the water out. So truthfully, we can get as much RV antifreeze out of the system by draining it. So turn those 2 valves, the low points, turn those on. And then also the Truma drain up here. Let's go ahead and just open that up. And we'll just let all that drain out. And we'll leave them open for now. You can leave them open all winter if you want to. Otherwise, once it all drains out, you can close them all again and put it back into just ready to use mode if you want to. Then when you go to de-winterize, all you gotta do is put water back in it and all your valves are in the right position. Kind of up to you on that. The other thing we wanna do is drain our Truma. And again, same way we did it before. We're gonna lift on that. We're gonna lift up, pull that out, and then we're just gonna let all of the antifreeze drain out of there. So this is one thing you do not want to forget to drain the Truma, because even though it's full of RV antifreeze, there's enough that it will swell and still break. So we want to make sure we drain that, and we also want to make sure we empty that canister that's inside too, which we'll do here in a second. So this one, let that all drain out of there. That's your plug and your filter. Two choices here. What we do here at the dealership is we never put this back in the Truma. We actually store them right here, off to the side. And that's just in case there's any residual or anything that would go back in there. It's up to you. Once you drain it all, you can put it back in if you want to. So again, you're ready when you go to de-winterize. To be safe, we always just put it off to the side. All right, so we let that drain there, let that drain there, let all our drains drain down here. Now we'll go back inside, and the last thing we need to do is dump the canister that's inside underneath the kitchen sink. Okay, now we came back inside again. We're gonna actually dump the canister that's underneath the kitchen sink. And again, this is another thing that we wanna make sure we dump at the end of winterizing. Just because RV antifreeze is in the system doesn't mean it can't swell just enough to break these filters, which it can. So we definitely wanna make sure we dump them. And again, I'm just gonna unscrew this. Pull it out. And then we'll just dump it down the kitchen sink. And then we will put the canister back on there. All right, just like that. And then the last thing you want to do is with just whatever antifreeze you have left, just come around to each drain and just dump a little bit down each drain, just to make sure we winterize the traps. More than likely, they got winterized from the RV antifreeze that we pumped down there, but it doesn't hurt to dump a little bit more down there. This is the time that you actually want to have regs, and that's just to make sure that we clean up. RV antifreeze can stain over time, so it's good just to, you know, wipe all the sinks down, wipe whatever you can down, get antifreeze cleaned up. Other than that, if you want to at this point, you can actually go outside, shut all your valves, put your filter back in, any of that stuff, to get it back in the mode pretty much where when you de-winterize, you just put water in it. Or like I said before, you can leave all these valves open. If you feel safer with them open, where any residual will actually drain out, we can do that too. It's kind of however you want to do it. Other than that, that's about all there is to winterizing a Winnebago 24T.